Good evening, School Board, Dr. Hernandez and District staff. The time is 5 p.m. on June 23rd, 2020, and I call the public hearing of the Edgewood Independent School District School Board to order. Roll call. Dina Serrano.
Present.
Joseph Guerra. Timothy Payne.
Okay, Mr. Payne, can you try that one more time?
Pardon me?
Can you say you're here?
Present.
James Hernandez.
James, that was you.
Oh, I didn't hear anything. I'm here.
Thank you. Stella Camacho.
Here.
The audio is not coming through, Olga.
And Louis Gomez.
On the mic up.
We
Here?
can't hear anything.
Mr. Gomez, can you unmute yourself, please?
James Camacho.
Here.
James Hernandez.
I'm here. I heard that.
Louis Gomez.
This is James.
Mr. Gomez.
Can you unmute your mic, Mr. Gomez? You're muted. Can you say here again?
Louis Gomez.
Here.
Thank you. And I'm Martha Castilla, present. Notice of public hearing to consider whether Edgewood Independent School District should apply for the optional flexible school day program under the Texas. Notice of public hearing to consider whether Edgewood Independent School District should apply for the optional flexible school day program.
Can't really hear him there, Olga.
Yeah, we can't hear anything.
Notice of public hearing to consider whether Edgewood, no? You lost it again, Jane?
In and out. He's in and out.
There, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Mr.
Yes,
Payne?
that was better.
Okay.
That's
Seems
a lot
like
better.
everybody can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with
Indivisible, liberty.
liberty and justice for all.
Flag, I pledge
Yes.
one state under God, one and we're going to go ahead and have a moment of silence. Thank Okay, let's go ahead and get started, please. The public hearing today is a notice of public hearing to consider whether Edgewood Independent School District should apply for the optimal flexible school day program under the Texas Education Code 29.082 for 2020 through 2021. Board members, do I have a motion to open up the public hearing in regard to the optimal flexible school day program?
A motion.
Mr. James Hernandez motions, Mr. Guerra seconds. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. The public hearing is now open.
Confirm whether or not citizens.
Do we have any citizens that send in agenda comments?
So for the record, there are no. Go ahead.
Good evening, Dr. Hernandez, Superintendent, Board President, Ms. Castilla, and members of the board. Welcome, community. This evening is optional flexible school day public hearing for community input. I want to talk a little bit about the optional flexible school day program. We've had this program actually in Edgewood for several years. What this allows for is flexibility for our students. The optional flexible school day program does allow us to modify the days and times of attendance for our students that fit particular categories. So the goal of optional flexible school day is to improve the graduation rate for at-risk students, increase opportunities for our students, and offer additional flexibility. Within this particular program through the state of Texas, the focus on eligible students are students at risk of dropping out. This is an option for students that are attending an innovative redesigned campus, which actually applies to all three of our high school campuses in Edgewood ISD, or has already dropped out of school and wants to continue. A student that may be denied credit due to their attendance, or a student that is attending an early college high school program. So the district has traditionally used this particular program for our at-risk population primarily. We foresee us being able to actually use this as we move forward into the 2021 school year to support students in our early college high school program and students that may want to continue engaging in the remote learning that we've had an opportunity to launch this spring and summer. The process for the optional flexible school day program is that students would apply for this program. They are given individualized schedules, and those are determined working with the student, the parent, and the school. And then students are tracked and supported in this process. So this is really a self-paced opportunity for kids to get back on track or to continue advancing and moving forward in the work that they're doing coursework. This is really a blended model, which we experienced pretty heavily this spring, and we anticipate that we'll be launching this fall, continuing our work around blended learning with students. So it's a combination of face-to-face instruction and online instruction. We'll continue using current platforms such as Edgenuity and Microsoft Teams to support students in the credit accrual process. So I'll open it up for questions for the board or for the community at this time.
Do we have any questions regarding public hearing?
Board members, any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Dominguez. There's no questions.
Very much.
If not, so since we don't have any, I need a motion to close the public hearing in regards to the flexible school day program. Is there a motion? Dina motions. Is there a second?
I second. This is James.
Dina motions and James second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. The public hearing in regards to the flexible school day program is now closed. The time now 5:12.
Are you seeking a motion to adjourn?
They just did, sir.
Already did
We got
that.
2 motions.
Okay.
Do we come back at 5:30?
There's one at 5:15,
Oh, 5:15. Okay, then I'll just stay.
and then the 5:30 board meeting.
The board meeting is at 5:30? I thought it was at 6.
Another public hearing at 5:15.
We have a public hearing at 5:15, and then the board meeting's at 5:30 right after.
30. Okay. That
Steve, we're live right now, please.
oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
So it looks like everybody's coming back online now.
Yes, sir. I just need to have the option to screen share.
This one?
Mr. Williams, can you have me, let me screen share, please?
I'm sorry, yeah, just give me a second. You should have it now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. call this public hearing of the Edgewood District School Board order. We'll do roll call. Serrano? Yes. Joseph Guerra? Timothy Kane?
Present.
Stella Camacho?
Here.
James Hernandez?
Present.
And Luis Gomez. Gomez?
Mr. Gomez, your mic might be muted. Or not, you might have lost connection on your mic.
He says he can't hear. He texted me.
Can he text the answer on the
On the chat.
chat? Yes.
Yes.
But he said he can't hear, so he wouldn't be able to respond. Chat in the bot. Okay.
Okay, if you will all rise for pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America. To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice.
On and
Moment of silence. Thank you. Notice? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Notice of public hearing to discuss 2020-2021 budget and proposed tax rate. Board members, do I have a motion to open public hearing in regards to 2021 budget and proposed tax rate? Do I hear a motion?
Yes, I motion.
Dina Serrano motions. James, second.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. The public hearing is now open. Ms. Myrna Martinez, staff, present.
Thank you, President Castilla. Good evening, everybody. Dr. Hernandez, board members, those of us out there listening live. Tonight, we want to talk about our budget and proposed tax rate that will be presented later this evening as part of our consent agenda item. As required by law, the notification for this public hearing was published on June the 12th for the hearing that would have started today at 5:15 p.m. As always, we wrap around everything that we do around our 5 superintendent board goals. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about the budget responsibility, this year's journey, the budget assumptions that we've made going into this next proposed budget, the tax rate, and ultimately how the budget will be approved tonight. For the budget response.
None? Okay, thank you, Ms. Myrna Martinez, for
Thank
your
you, ma'am.
presentation. Board members, I need a motion to close the public hearing in regards to the 2020-21 budget and proposed tax rate. Mr. Guerra moves. And Ms. Serrano seconds. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Yay, it's my name.
What was that? Ms. Camacho, did you have a comment? No? Okay, motion carries. The public hearing in regards to the 2020-2021 budget and proposed tax rate is now closed. Thank you. Now, do I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing of the Edgewood Independent School District Board? Dina motions. Anybody else for a second? Mr. Guerra seconds. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Mr. Gomez, you're muted.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay. Motion carries. The time is now 5:38 p.m. and this public hearing meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Hey, Tim, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Watch this. Can you see me on the screen?
Yeah. You got you one also.
Yeah, buddy.
1934 to 1996.
Yep. That's the year my youngest daughter graduated.
That was the last school year, huh?
Yep. Yeah, she was in the last graduating class.
Jeez. And is she the one that substitute?
Yes.
We're not live anymore, are we?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, honestly, I don't know what's going on.
I'm trying to get Olga to get the audio back up.
Oh,
Okay, we are live right now. There is no audio. We have it muted on our end. What's happening is it's kicking everything off on us. Y'all have internet at home, but ours is shutting down, so we're having to reboot and then unmute everything. I don't know why we're losing internet here. But just so y'all know, y'all are live, so people can see you right now. They just can't hear you. But we can hear everything y'all are saying.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry,
It's okay.
we bad.
Thank you, everybody, for being patient with us. We've had some technical difficulty, but we're ready to get started. The time is 5:45. We're going to go ahead and have our roll call to call the meeting to order. James Hernandez,
Present.
Stella Camacho. Here. Timothy Payne,
Present.
Luis Gomez,
Here.
Joseph Guerra, Dina Serrano,
Present.
and Martha Castilla. I'm also here. So please, will you rise to do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Flag.
United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. Texas, one day, God, one.
Do we have any communication from citizens? Comments shall be limited to current board agenda items. The speaker will be informed when he or she has 1 minute remaining. Speakers who engage in personal attacks or use insulting, profane, threatening, or abusive language during any board meeting shall be ruled out of order by the preceding officer and may be escorted from the board meeting room by district peace officers. Any concerns or complaints regarding employees, public officials, students, or parents must be resolved via the appropriate complaint process as stated in BD Local pursuant to 551.042 of the Texas Government Code. No board member or administrator may respond to a member of the public unless such response is a recitation of district policy or a statement of specific factual information.
Thank you, Board. We have a public comment from Leticia Barbosa, so I will read her letter this evening. Good evening. It is my sincere hope that these comments reach the Board, as this will be my fourth attempt to share public comments since meeting and board workshops were closed to the public using the listed email. My name is Leti Barbosa. I am a fifth grade teacher at Roosevelt Elementary, a parent of a Roosevelt student, and president of the Edgewood Classroom Teachers Association. Are you aware of the district turnover rate and the financial impact it has on our district? An article by Learning Forward found that teachers leave the profession because they feel unsupported due to the increased demands of student learning standards, increased evaluations, large class sizes, and negative work environments. Factors that have also increased the COVID school closures and the demands of working from home. All reasons, EISD continues to have turnover of 22%. This is well above the state average of 16%. Based on these numbers, it is estimated that over 100 teachers can be expected to leave Edgewood by the end of the month, costing the district between $205,000 to $300,000. What it costs to recruit, hire, train, and orient teachers. We are aware that TASB suggested a 1 to 2% pay increase for teachers and librarians to other districts they believe are comparable to Edgewood. We find it hard to imagine they would not have suggested the same salary adjustments to remain competitive in their Edgewood pay system maintenance report submitted to the board in May. We know tonight that you will not be adopting a budget with these suggestions. If you are not attempting to retain employees with a competitive salary, you should attempt to retain them with a quality work environment. Our question is, how do you propose to do this? It is certainly not with the intermittent calendar and longer work days. Yes, we know that with extended days for students, teachers across the district will be expected to adjust their work day well past 5. Often 6 when they are required to attend district trainings after teaching all day. What you may not realize is that longer afternoons for students impacts family time for your employees. A typical teacher currently stays on their campus well into the early evening. My son lives at our campus. His typical day is 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. If you happen to follow my Twitter page, you will find countless photos of him asleep at staff meetings in the classroom on the drive home. Imagine what that will now look like with extended time in the afternoon. Are you attempting to retain teachers with the new policy, use of discretionary leave? Edgewood employees often use their discretionary time is now up.
Thank you. Dr. Hernandez, do you have a superintendent's report, sir?
Good evening, Board President, board members, and community, both present here and out in the community. I do have a board superintendent's report today that I do want to share some few highlights that are going on in the district at this time, so I'll bring your attention to that report. As always, when we started this school year, the first year that I was superintendent, we started our finding our why. You recall that first year was about why do we do the work that we do. The second year, our work has now revolved around our story and our why. Hashtag details matter. I'm one who always believes that the details in everything are extremely important because behind details are people. And obviously, our people are extremely important. Our employees are important, our students are important, our community is important. And we stand as one complete unit and not any one individual. And so I bring this to you as a reminder because we are still writing our story as Edgewood ISD. Obviously, this school year has called us to do things that maybe were not part of our normal. There is now a new normal that's being developed across Edgewood, across our city, across our state, across our nation. So any of the rules of the past don't always apply because what we're doing now is that we're creating a future. And so I invite you to always remember that and reflect on that because that is something that we're doing as the executive team, myself as the superintendent of the district, and it's a conversation that I intend to keep having with our board as we move forward. And so as always, we will always follow our core values in the district and always be professional about what we do, accountable in the things that we do, and remember that communication is key. You will find me oftentimes saying we communicate early, communicate often. And sometimes it's the same message, but sometimes it takes people more than one time to remember something or to understand something. And that's where we start with our communication, is seeking to understand before we pass judgment on anything. That's a core value that we respect in the district and that as superintendent I've tried to model in everything that we do. So obviously today we thank our school board because as always our school board has worked as a unit. The school board leads the efforts of the district. And so in all that we do, we want to make sure that we don't lose light of the fact that as we said in the past, we have 5 board superintendent goals. And every action that we take is revolving around one of these goals. You saw in the last hearing, we tied these goals to the financial, the money, where our money is going. You'll see that again here in the presentation in a few seconds about where we're spending our money as a school district. And obviously our number one item is focus on student success. They are first and foremost why we all are here. And we don't lose light of that. The second is our students, our families, and community. So Ms. Martinez mentioned in the last hearing about our community pláticas. So obviously right now we can't have our pláticas, but our goal is to always get out in the community and inform them as much as possible what's going on. The third is being operationally excellent. In a time of COVID, obviously that is extremely important because we need to make sure that our buildings are prepared to receive students, but also prepared to receive the adults who live in these schools. And that's important, and right now, leadership in this area is extremely important. And then as always, our goal 4 is employee and organizational improvement. In creating pipelines of employees that come into the district, that we work with while they're in the district, and that we help socially help them move upwards. They have goals of moving up in the organization, that we create that. And we have to think of all of our units, not any one individual person. And so I say that to you because I realize everyone's entitled to their opinion. But it is extremely important that we remember, even for our employees, we are here because our students deserve a high-quality education. You deserve a high-quality place of work. And those things are not things that I take lightly. And then the 5th goal is, of course, the financial stewardship. And making sure that for every dollar that we have to spend, for every dollar that you give us, and that you trust us with, we are stewards of that money. That is the goal that we have in our school district, is to make sure that we bring much attention to our schools, our physical schools, our employees, and everything that we do. So these are the 5 board superintendent goals. I know here in the last month we've added a few board members. So you'll hear me repeat this as we move forward because I want to make sure that everyone understands that the steps we take revolve around our goals. So goal 1. So obviously our number 1 goal is graduation. Many of you witnessed the graduations that we held last month, and I want to tell you we have now received a feedback survey from our parents and people that attended. Overwhelmingly, people were very pleased at what was put forth. Everything from how people walked in and checked in terms of our pandemic that we're in now to the organization. And as you see there, the fireworks at the end. The details, again, matter. And if you were there, you saw the faces of our students. They look very happy. And for a superintendent and a father, I will tell you that is extremely important to me, that we can see the look in kids' faces. You can't put money on that. And so the overwhelming response has been, let's keep doing this. And so I will continue to have this conversation with our board. I think we have found a new opportunity for us as we continue to tell our story. And so that's part of the work that our board will lead in terms of making sure that we have a high-quality graduation for our students. The other thing I wanted to bring to the board was also, we still have students that are in the district in terms of now putting in for, this is our cosmetology, CTE kids. And so we still have students that need to earn their hours towards their certification. So obviously, we're doing as much as we can to make sure that we are offering those opportunities in a safe and healthy environment, because we want to make sure that our kids don't lose out on their opportunities to get industry certification. So as I said before, we're learning every day. Board and community, you know, this week, I made the decision to stop our athletic programming because obviously there were some risks there. And so every day, these decisions are in front of us, and I will make the best decision possible with the best advice and the people around me that serve as my guides to make sure that we are taking care of our students. But I wanted you to know how proud we are of our kids that are coming in and still committed to the work that they started. And then, of course, we have also had many conversations now about our safety and startup plans. And so we've had our campuses to start presenting to the executive team on what does the school day look like when we come back. In terms of how do I enter the building, which hallways, what will we be doing when we tell kids this is a one-way hallway, this is your restroom, you're not leaving this room. Really making sure that we look at every piece of our school. And we actually had a virtual meeting with some of our parents, some of our mothers, our women with vision, and different groups that we asked them to actually get together with us and look at our different plans and poke holes in them, because we still don't have students in the building. So right now we are leveraging all our resources, among them our parents, and asking them, what do you see? What do you think we need to get better at in terms of preparation? So I just wanted the community to know those conversations are going on now, and they will continue to go on. The second goal is students, families, and community. Obviously, we are still committed to helping our brother, our sister in a time of need. These are the things we need to be talking about in terms of the work that the district does. Because we're not just an employer, we're also a brother and a sister in our neighborhood. And in the neighborhoods, we get the opportunity to serve. I don't say that lightly. Many of you know my personal story. I come from very limited means myself. And so it really is very heartening to see the members of our community put in some sweat and actually get out there and load up people when they need food or just their basics. So that's important leadership that our board has been providing too. And so we want to make sure that we don't lose light of these things, because they're equally as important. And so as you can see, we have members of the parent liaison group that are filling bags up, that are providing food for our folks. And it's hard work, but it's heart work, as I call it. It's del corazón. It's important that we continue to do this in Edgewood. The third goal is operational excellence. So obviously, I want to give a shout out to our PPS workers under the leadership of Mr. Williams and the work that they did. They were the men and women who helped set up. They built the stage all on a dime and got it quick, set up, got the chair set up, and everybody that was there, you know, it was hot. And so we still had a great time, but I wanted to acknowledge all of their efforts. Our athletics department too, who was out there, our coaches, our nurses, everybody that had anything to do with this day. This is another opportunity for me to say thank you for all your hard work, because it really takes all of us to get this ready for our kids. And then the other thing I wanted to report is that we're still getting ready for school. So these are pictures from Gardendale Early Learning Center. If you'll recall, that is our pre-K for SA partnership school. And the work continues in terms of cutting out those windows where you can walk by and you can look into the classroom. That work is still continuing. So the partnerships that this board had the courage to lead a few years ago are now really starting to bring fruition in terms of the opportunities that we provide for students, but also for families and also for employees, because we have employees that are applying now for these schools, and employees are getting to select what school they get to serve in. A happy employee, I believe, is an employee that is somewhere where they, beyond their desire to help children, are at a particular school, in this case, an early childhood school. I think that's important for the future in terms of retention. The fourth goal is focus on employee and organizational improvement. And so obviously among all this work, one thing that has been very important is to make sure that we are hearing from our different partners. We've now had multiple virtual town hall meetings. I've had them with our employees. I've had them with professional council, with DEIC. I know there's other meetings that some of our other members of the senior leadership team have been having, like Ms. Dominguez. We got a lot of feedback on our new, on the calendar that we are proposing tonight. And so town hall meetings have been going on. As I mentioned about the academic calendar proposal, these are the different groups that I've been speaking to, CEIC, the Women with Vision. These are the groups that we've been working with now for a couple of years. And so that's extremely important to garner as much input as we can. And then, of course, the fifth, which is the budget adoption that we're recommending tonight. So once again, Ms. Martinez is going to recap for us some of the highlights so that the members of our community as a whole can hear as we move forward. So, Martinez.
Thank you, Dr. Hernandez. These are just some of the same highlights that I shared during the public hearing short while ago. So I'm not going to read everything. And really, these basic assumptions that I spoke about earlier, I couldn't have put more eloquently than Dr. Hernandez just did. He hit on all four goals. And we're talking about the fiscal stewardship right now. But all the four goals that he just spoke about, how we're serving the community, the students, academics, every need that you just spoke about, that he just spoke about rather, is all the basic assumptions that we made going into next year. So I just wanted to briefly talk about, again, the expected revenue of about $96 million. We are asking the board to approve about $104 million expenditure budget. And we have some other revenue sources that are still to be determined. We are proposing a budget that's about $8.6 million short. But again, this is around work that's in innovation that Dr. Hernandez just discussed, projects that were not completed in 1920 around innovation to include a new student information systems, business information systems, and other projects that were approved along the line that weren't completed by June the 30th. Most of the other amounts go really for network accessibility and connectivity for our students. Also to achieve the one-to-one devices for our students and teachers. We want to make sure that we come back to school, that we have a fully network-ready district to include community accessibility in case our students are sitting at home getting instruction. So all of these things are really key. And the next key item here is that we are looking at compensation for our staff. Right now, what we can do is honor the step increase for our teachers, but we will come back at a later date once we have a little bit more information about how things are going to fall once we get our students back, to revisit compensation. So this is what we can do today, but that doesn't mean that the conversations stop over the next few months around compensation for our staff.
Board and community, I want to highlight a couple of things for you because I want to put this in perspective. The money that we are anticipating are obviously unforeseen costs because of the situation that we're in. To give a child a one-to-one device, can we not move forward? Leave that other thing up. Giving a child a device but not creating an environment where they have accessibility and connectivity is not responsible. We are trying to do everything in our power to make sure that as we're giving out these devices, we don't make the assumption that every home has the capacity to get on the internet. We are trying to create an environment where our children are going to have access, whether that be through a mesh network. We're still working on those things, but I want to put into perspective the cost associated with doing this. And so we, like any house, this was a house and this was our household budget. We're trying to live within our means. You know, when I got here, that was something I mentioned to you that I wanted to do as a superintendent. But unfortunately, right now, we are in the middle of a pandemic that requires us to do what is of integrity. And we would want this for our own children, so we have the power to provide this for our students. I make no apologies because I'm put in this role to represent all the children in the district, as are each one of us, as board members and as a community. And we have to learn to take care of our children because they're our children. So I wanted to just put that into perspective. These are costs that I believe are going to be hard costs now, but that will pay dividends in the end in terms of children having access to the education that we expect to deliver to them.
And just to add to what Dr. Hernandez said, these are one-time costs that we're expecting to pay. So just to continue and to reiterate from earlier, our property tax values have been increasing over the last few years. Even though our tax rate has been reduced and we anticipate another 1.3 cent reduction in this next tax rate, those two components for the tax rate are for maintenance and operations and INS. The maintenance and operations, I want to reiterate that it is for our day-to-day expenditures, and the interest and sinking fund is to pay for prior debt that the district used to either enhance buildings and or build. And so even though we are going to propose probably a 1.3 cent reduction in our tax rate, I just wanted to point out that our average taxpayer will still likely see about a $90 increase yearly based on property tax increases, but that's still yet to be determined. When we bring back the proposed rate in September for approval, we'll have better numbers at that point in time. Dr. Hernandez mentioned the 5 board superintendent goals. We tie everything that we do around those goals, and this is a result of that. As you can see, goals 1 and 2, again, that's where the majority of our focus is, but we don't lose sight that we need operations and employee and fiscal stewardship to also be on top of that list. And again, this is our pandemic 2020 budget that we're going to be proposing this evening.
Ms. Castillo, that brings my report to an end.
Thank you. At this time, we move to our next agenda item, which is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda item as listed?
Motion.
Ms. Serrano motions.
I second.
Accept the items A to AA.
Okay. James, you were seconding?
Yeah, I second it.
Dina motions, James seconds. Is there any discussion? If no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Mr. Payne, was that an aye?
Yes, I said aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Thank you. At this time, it's 6:10, and the board will adjourn into closed session to discuss agenda item 8A pursuant to sections 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. The board is now in closed session.
Okay, guys, can y'all hear me? You need to turn that off.
I can hear you.
Yes.
I can hear you.
There's an echo too.
We have to turn it off. Nope, I know, but this is going into the closed session. So we can't hear what they're saying. Okay, guys, I'm gonna walk y'all over to the closed session. I'm gonna leave my laptop there, so can y'all
old man gotta eat, man. This old man gotta eat.
Okay, guys, we're about to go live. We're just waiting for Mr. Payne to get on.
Okay.
Hey, Stella.
Hey, I'm here. Can you hear me, Jay?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, I think everybody else is muted, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I saw you on mute right now.
I was on mute.
Ron. Ready?
Yeah?
Hey, guys, can y'all hear?
Yes.
Yes.
The time is now 7:10, and the board will adjourn into close, no. The board will take appropriate action on items if necessary as discussed in closed session. At this time, there's no items to discuss. And I ask the board members if there's a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
Don't move.
I second.
Dina motions. Mr. Gomez, you second?
Yes.
Is there any discussion? If we have no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, team. We'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
Olga, I had a question. Are we still going?
We are. Do you need me to call you after?
Yeah. Can you call me after?
Yes, sir.
Okay.